So much of our history was stolen that I think the contemporary artist's job is partly to document the present for those who are coming after it. What you have is a very specific idea of Indian in America, and that tends to be Plains Indian because that was usually what showed up in American pop culture. And so I think we're often, as those of us who are contemporary artists, are navigating, trying to tell our stories accurately of our communities, and then getting kind of perception from gatekeepers who are saying, well, that doesn't really sound very Indian or very native. Very interested um, in the origin of that as a slur, and I just can't imagine why a group of people, my group of people, who are already oppressed by so many things, then it kind of invented a way to oppress one another by creating the slur, which is, red on the outside, white on the inside. It was like a critique. Like if you weren't Indian enough, you were, or acting Indian enough, you were, called an apple. And I know in other diverse groups there are similar kinds of intra-group slurs as well. They themselves were boarding school survivors, so they were taken away from their home communities and put into the Carlisle and Hampton Institute. So these are boarding schools that were designed solely to remove them from their indigenous culture and to indoctrinate them into American culture. And the idea behind the school was that if you were kept there long enough, I think the estimated number of years was 6 years, that you would not be able to successfully go back to your community because you would have been so Americanized that the community would seem too odd or too foreign to you. Well, I think that the reality of America's awareness of Indians is really quite uninformed, and they tend to be very stereotypical, either by logos for sports teams or even what you see in much of entertainment culture. It's like on the plains in the 19th century, so like contemporary indigenous culture just doesn't appear anywhere. And one of the backdrops for the book is also the final few albums the Beatles put together, and because their record label was Apple Records, and so I kind of like this overlap between what they were doing. And I think one of the things that I've loved most about Indigenous culture and being a member of one is this constant act of reinvention and repositioning other influences. So we kind of take these other things and reinvent them to our own purposes.